Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the URC. This one, Leinster taking on the Sharks. Now, Leinster haven't got off to the start in this URC season that they would have liked, but they've got a stacked side here at home. Going head-to-head up against a Sharks side who did have a draw just last week. So both of these sides have a lot to gain from this matchup, but it's going to be very intriguing. A huge favourite in Leinster heading into this contest. Whereas the Sharks, they quite enjoy that underdog kind of mentality of being able to come and get themselves those big wins. They also have the return of multiple Springboks into their side just to add a little bit more oomph into this team. But looking through, first of all, at the home side. In this match, Leinster in the front row will be Paddy McCarthy as the number one. Ronan Kelleher slots in at 2. And Tyke Furlong, the Irish international, slotting in at 3. So you will notice quite a few Irish internationals across this Leinster side. For this match, Deeney alongside Beard adds the locking duo. Soroka keeps the spot at 6 with Josh Bean and Flair slotting in as the 7. Now, he is also going to be captain for this game, so massive opportunity for Van den Flair to show exactly what he can do. Max Deegan, he is slotting in as the 8, and he closes out what is a pretty strong Leinster 4-back overall. Of course, still no Caelan Doris due to his injury, but overall this is about what you'd expect to see for Leinster. Throughout this year, Fintan Gunn as the starting number 9 with Harry Byrne slotting in at 10. Kieran Frawley in the midfield alongside Robbie Henshaw, so yet to see Gary Ringrose, also due to injury. Same with Jamison Gibson-Park, Jonah Lowe, Jimmy O'Brien and Jamie Osborne. He is at number 15 for this contest, so they do not have the other O'Brien who has been playing in the first 2 matches of the URC. Looking through at this Sharks starting lineup, it is also Matanzima as their number 1 with Fezan Bata slotting in at 2 and Raya as the 3. Now they have got Bongi Umbanambi and Vincent Koch, 2 Springbok internationals to make their way off the bench for the Sharks. Jason Jenkins and Marvin Ori adding to the locking duo. Now Marvin Ori actually scoring himself a try last week in the game. Up against the Dragons, Pepsi Buthelezi as the 6 with Emmanuel Tichuka at 7 and Vincent Tichuka. He is on a try scoring streak at the moment. He has scored 2 weeks in a row. This game, he is considered, alongside the Sharks, as the big underdogs, but anytime they are close to the line, you will normally see Tichuka really show off what he can do. That's what he'll be hoping for this match as well. Jaden Hendrickse and John Smith will be that 9 and 10 combination. Lucanio Arm in the midfield alongside Jorenzo Julius, and then out in the back 3, some real Springbok caliber here. Makazole Mapimpi out on the left. He didn't really get too many minutes for the green and gold throughout the Rugby Championship. In fact, I don't think he even got a single minute throughout that competition. Ethan Hooker out on the right wing. He was actually getting quite a bit of time out on the left for the Springboks. And then at number 15, Edwell van der Merwe. He did score on his Sharks debut. Second game, he was a little bit quiet, so we'll be wanting to really ramp it up here. Show what he can do as a number 15. Looking through at the chat, we have got there Hamish, you're back. Says Roof, I certainly am. Hello, Hamish, is Marion there. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. And we have got hello from Adam Reed. Welcome in. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting kind of game. Leinster, like I mentioned, come in as the massive favourites. The Sharks are the underdogs, but they've got some real class across that 23 for both sides. And hopefully it will be a little bit closer than the last game we covered. Benetton able to get themselves that comfortable win, 41 points to 10 over the Lions in that game. Or 41-17, I should say, I think it was in the end. So hopefully this game will be a lot closer. And the overall standings, and speaking of the standings, this is the way that the table sat at the start of today. The Stormers and Munster both at the top of the bunch with 3 wins from 3. Now, next week we see Munster go head-to-head with Leinster. And Leinster at this current point in time are sitting second last. Now, I believe due to the Lions' points differential, they almost maybe have dropped down below Leinster at this point in time, but Leinster not used to being in this half of the table. Normally they are number 1, and that is where they stay throughout the whole season. They've got a little bit of making up to do, but overall still plenty of time to be able to really make an impact throughout this URC competition. Looking through at last week's games for Leinster, they lost by 8. They would have loved that 7-point or less margin to get themselves the bonus point from that matchup, but 39 points to 31. The loss to the Bulls. They've been playing a lot of the South African sides at this point, home and away. And then also for the Sharks, I mentioned about it, that 17-all game up against the Dragons. They weren't at their best, but they also weren't at their worst for that match. I feel like they had some good moments. Alongside that, they also had a couple really shaky ones. Of course, the weather was not helping for that matchup, and hopefully the weather for this game at RDS is going to be a lot nicer. Off the bench for these two sides, Luke McGrath, the experienced veteran there, as the number 21. Thomas Clarkson, he's made a real impact for Leinster since getting a couple starts in the recent rounds. And then for the Sharks, like I mentioned, couple Springboks there, and Bongi Umbanambi, Vincent Cox there too, and the big youngster, Klachane, who's got a huge amount of potential, and hopefully we are going to see that once again. I'm just looking here. Kieran Frawley may have taken a head knock in the warm-up, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting assessed by the medics. I have no idea who smacked him on the cheek, but someone's in a little bit of trouble, I would think, if he is left out of the starting lineup. We have got there, the plan is to cheer our hearts out for the Sharks. Says Z there, hi Hamish, says good, hard, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. I hope for a more improved performance from the tour to South Africa. Says Tiger 11. And then also wish you all the best, Sharks, from a Bulls supporter. And of course, the Bulls, they're going to be in action just around the corner. And that will be the matchup taking place up against Ulster. That is going to be a fantastic game of rugby. And hi Hamish and everyone, says Sakabula, welcome in. You're doing very well. And if Leinster lose here, it's all over. I don't think their season will be over per se, though. They are still, even with the loss here, I believe a top 4 team for the overall standings. They will find their rhythm. Irish internationals coming back for this game. And, you know, I think that they'll try and get on a streak like they had last year. Maybe it will be a bit more challenging. This competition so far throughout the first couple of rounds seems more competitive than we've had in the past. But yeah, it is a concern that we are seeing Cooney at the moment warming up with the starting side, although we did just see there Kieran Frawley running in the background, so he may be all right to start as that number 12. And Sharks will win here, says Gerhard. I want the Sharks to win, but Leinster will probably win, says Patrick. All I'm going to say is Leinster, if they were to lose this game at home, it would be an absolutely massive one. And the Sharks, don't get me wrong, even with their Springboks, this is considered as a really big underdog side. I believe they are about $8 something underdogs, the biggest underdog at least for most of this round. And you have to wonder if it is understandably so with how they've been going throughout the early stages. But the next week's game, Leinster, they will be going up against Munster, and then the week after that, they will be facing Zebra, who just had themselves a loss to the Ospreys. For the Sharks, they will be very happy because they are getting back on home soil. They have got their game up against Ulster next week, and then also the Scarlets the week after. We see the Lions play the Scarlets and then Ulster for next round, so it's a bit of a mix and match. But normally what happens is the team tours and they face all those sides around about the same time, but both sides making their way into the tunnel by the looks of it. Get ready for this match at the Viva. We have got their Sharks need a win here. And are you going to give us the whole match to listen? Says Fricky. So we are going to be doing the play-by-play commentary on the channel, just like we normally would for the URC competition. So yeah, it will be whatever's happening out on the field. We will, of course, be letting you know, as well as the try scorers and a bit of chat alongside it as well. Hi, everyone. Says Meadow no. And we had a little bit of rain. Okay, so a bit of slipperiness underfoot, perhaps. And we have got their Sharks win here. Yes, says Gerhard. And C+ team. I'd say that both sides are looking pretty decent. I'll give both sides... See, I don't like the term B team, but it gets thrown around so much. But I would say that this is probably a B+ or an A- for both sides. It's pretty close to what we will see. You could argue that the Sharks are probably about maybe they're the B+, and then Leinster, well, they've got a few guys gone as well. So there are a few that are missing. But then if you base it off guys who are out due to injury and don't count them, then this is pretty close to the best lineups, with the exception of a few Boks missing in here too. And happy Saturday evening, says Carlin. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. And Sharks need to win here, says Tyrone. And rugby is new generation or new era gladiators in an arena. And this is Leinster's first team, no excuses. Says Jumbo, thanks man, you are the best. Says Fricky there too. And then straight after this game, we've also got the Bulls versus Ulster game. That is happening around the corner too. Sharks to win, says Mike. Our usual Saturday beer rugby, says Patrick. Yeah, there is plenty of it. At the moment, it is almost 5:30 a.m. here in New Zealand. That next game kicking off at 7:45. So I've got maybe about a 5-minute break in between these two matches. Sharks, a mix between Sharks and Sardines. Says Eric, yeah, they've had a bit of an up and down start to their URC season. The thing is, though, they are a more than capable side. And on paper, this is a strong side. You look through, there are bocks everywhere. Vincent Tuchuka, I am surprised that he hasn't had any more opportunities for the Springboks, but I'm glad that he's also had consistent minutes for the Sharks because, 2 weeks in a row, that man has been able to score. And at the Aviva, I would almost say he's got a decent chance of scoring again. Just because he seems to be that first guy who gets to those breakdowns right next to the line, finds a way of picking and going straight over. And Josh Spiker said, evening Hamish. I hope that you're well, my friend. Thanks for the commentary. No worries at all. And yeah, it's a hectic day of the URC. We're going to have plenty more taking place next week as well while we wait for these two sides to make their way onto the field. These are the next week matches that are taking place. Connacht going head-to-head with the Bulls. Also, Lions, Scarlets, Sharks, Ulster, and Zebra versus the Stormers. Those are the games involving South African sides. Outside of that, Leinster versus Munster. That's going to be a great game. Ospreys versus Glasgow. I think that one's very intriguing, and I've mentioned how that could be match of the weekend, depending on how it goes, as well as Edinburgh, Benetton. Could be very intriguing just after Benetton have got themselves a whole heap of tries up against the Lions, and also Liner getting a forfeit in that game. I see a man doing a bit of vlogging on a GoPro there in the stands. In fact, they might have been taking a photo on a GoPro and ready to go for this match. That almost rhymed too much in that little patch. We have got their Sharks 32, Leinster 28. It's a prediction there from Lilia. We have got Go the Sharks, says Marion. And Leinster have been a bit like a yo-yo, up and down. Don't know what they'll do here. I would expect them to do a lot better, to be honest. Like, they've got Josh Van der Flair as the captain for this game. You've got the return of James Lowe, Frawley and Henshaw, probably a very handy midfield combo. I think this is going to be a much stronger Leinster performance than we've seen in their past few weeks. And hey, Hamish, I'm always lurking. Hello from Durban. Go the Sharks, says Unholy Monk in there too. You're also going to give us the Bulls game. We are indeed. Yep, we're going to be covering that one on the channel as well. And rugby, today's rugby ain't no match for how tough it was in the old days. It was rough and hard. And we're tough when I played in those days, namely the 70s and the 60s. So yeah, as Meta know. And also we'll get there, the Lions and the Bulls know what it means to fight for a Bok jersey. And Lowe is Ireland's best player. And yeah, the fact that he is out there for this matchup. But the thing is, he is going up against Ethan Hooker. Now, that is something we could actually see in November because Ireland are going to be going head-to-head with the Boks. That is only around a month and a bit away. It is absolutely flying by, as in the November internationals just about being here. I believe the All Blacks announced their squad tomorrow. Are going to show this match on this? Sadly not, due to licensing. Any match footage or audio will get us taken straight off YouTube. But if you let me know what country you're trying to watch from, we'll try our best to let you know what your option is. There aren't a huge amount of free options, though, around the place, although I do believe this game is free to air in Ireland. Just talking about that injury of Jason Jenkins. So it might actually be a late change there for the Sharks. I didn't actually see who's going to be starting in that number 4 jersey, but I would assume it would be Klakane, if I had to guess. And hi, Ruth. So here's Lilia there. And hoping the Sharks can pull off an upset today. Says Sakabola. Oh, okay, so never mind. Emmanuel Tuchuka has moved into the locking duo. Vincent Tuchuka has moved to 7, I believe. And then Hatton has gone to number 8. So a little bit of a reshuffle there. And hi, go the Sharks. Says Jessica Funsell there. And yeah, the Sharks, they have certainly got a lot of support heading into this match. They know that they come in as underdogs, but that does not mean that they won't fight. We have got there, I'm in Ireland. We can't seem to get it for free. Some reason. Is it really not free to air in Ireland? That Bulls versus Ulster game, I believe someone mentioned earlier on, was free. But this week was Munster. Well, that sucks. I feel like this is the game, though, that everyone would have been wanting to watch, right? That seems like a shame. So surely you put this game, and to be fair, if I was in charge, I would have only free option is TG4. So is TG4 available in Ireland, watching on Sky Sports in Ireland? And Leinster are a good team at home, says Gerhard, and the Sharks' business is crazy. Leinster clearly favourites to win this match, absolutely. The Leinster side actually came in initially as such a favourite you couldn't put money on them. And the Sharks were $21 underdogs. Now, they have gone right back to only $8.75 now to tell you that some money has been put on them by the New Zealand public. But, yeah, there's A little bit of doubt about both of these sides currently, but I feel like by the end of this 80 minutes, one of these two sides is definitely going to say we're a real contender. And next week, Island Freeview, a Munster versus Leinster. And TG4 is an Irish language Freeview channel. Says Noel there. And we have got there the Sharks CZ. Is Nathbota playing? He is not. No, not for this contest. And the Bulls is winning this one tonight and watching that game, says David Simpson. And yeah, it's greatly appreciated you guys all tuning in for this matchup. Do, of course, let me know your score predictions if you haven't already. Leinster, like I said, coming in as massive favourites for this contest. It would be nice to know. Okay, so Leinster expected to win by 27 points. Premier Sports has most of the games. TG4 got a select few. TG4 is Irish commentary. Although, to be fair, like commentary-wise, if you've got the rugby, that's all you really need. In a way, like, at the worst comes to worst, you can mute and then, hope for the best. 31-21 to Leinster, says Jimbo there. See there, Joe McCarthy, James Ryan, a couple of players who will not be playing in this contest for Leinster. And another good Freeview channel is S4C. They had Scarlet's match last night, says Patrick. Yeah, so there's a few select games that you can find around the place. Is Fuff ever coming back? Yep, he will get a chance at some stage, I would say. Definitely with the injury of Morne van den Berg from that last matchup. Bit of a concern there for the Springbok 9. And yeah, I just hope he's going to be all right for the November internationals. Any win will do, says Michael. Okay, so you're saying whether it's by 1 or by 50, you will take it. Irish commentary goes, okay. You only need the player's name, says Jimbo. And also Leinster 41 to the 25 of the Sharks, says Patrick. So the late change for the Sharks, but we are underway now for this match at the Aviva. Leinster at home versus the Sharks in URC round 3. Yeah, Hatton going into the number 8 jersey. That was due to the late injury change of no Jason Jenkins in the side. So Vincent Tuchuka. Oh, has Vincent Tuchuka gone to 4? Yes, he has, in fact. Well, that's an interesting one. I thought it would have been Emmanuel Tuchuka who went into the locking duo, but they have chucked Vincent as the 4. I can't think of the last time that man played lock. At what channel are you watching the game? So I'm watching on URC TV with a season pass to be able to watch this one. 25-12 Leinster. I think a 2-loss streak is all we can hope for, says Sebastian. Hello again, come on, the Sharks, says on the right. And ready to throw this one in for Fezambata. What injury did Morne pick up? Long-term thing. Looked like lower leg. Not sure about the severity, but they didn't continue playing him. So I think they didn't really want to take any risks. In that regard, it's going to be a close game. Just hope the Sharks win, says Fricky there. Sharks about to get their asses kicked. Although if they play better than they did up against the Dragons, they hopefully will have a decent chance of keeping it close. Now off to the right-hand side, it is going to be the youngster. Finton gun, skip pass from James Lowe. Out wide, some stepping from O'Brien. Puts it back on the inside to Lowe around the halfway line. Sharks looking for a little bit of a counter ruck there. Not quite coming. Well, I mean, it pops into the hands of Max Deegan. And tie game. Here to the best team in the world, says Gerhard there. A tackle made on Paddy McCarthy. Now Finton Gunn shifts it quickly. Frawley shovels it on. One more. Jamie Osborne fighting the man on his outside. Robbie Henshaw didn't really touch the ball a huge amount in last week's game. Driving tackle from Pepsi Butalazy. Leinster still 40 metres from their line. Josh Van den Flair, the captain, manages to break the line, but Fezambata wrestling him down. Hooker to score first, says Tony. And so going with the young Springbok winger. Bounce pass on the outside, and there's going to be the penalty going the way of Leinster. Oh, James Lowe wanted to take the quick tap, but he wasn't on the mark. And Sharks win by 5. Says Daryl there. So already we're seeing a little bit of intent there from Leinster with the fact that they tried to take that quick tap rather than just allowing it to play on kind of slowly. We have got the why is South African team so horrible, or am I just being hyperbolic? I would say, like, last year there were 3 South African sides inside of the top 8. So just because they have a loss every once in a while, I would not say that that takes them out of the running whatsoever. Like, the Sharks have never been the greatest side on the road, unfortunately. Definitely not up against Leinster. We will quickly show it here. These are all the head-to-heads that these sides have ever played. As you can see there, Leinster at home have a very good record. The Sharks at home, they have won 1 from 2. Little chip in behind attempted there, but the ball doesn't sit up for Alex Soroka. Only a couple metres out from his line. Nicely done by Edward van der Merwe. A little bit of an early fright for the Sharks, just out from their own goal line, but they have controlled it well. They managed to keep this ball alive. Told to use it, Jaden Hendrikse going across to Pepsi Buthelezi. So yeah, at the moment the record is 4-1 in favour of Leinster, including every game at home they have won by at least 20 points up against the Sharks side. We have got there 32-20 to Leinster. And Sharks fan, we are awful. We need to have a coach with the title of coach. Says MC, and don't know how I watch Ulster match later or watch Portugal hammer Ireland in the football later. Says Patrick. Alex Soroka just needed a slightly better bounce there. It looks like maybe he has injured himself already in just the first 4 minutes of the contest. Okay, he's saying about a knock to his forehead by the looks of it there. For Alex Soroka. And I say the Ulster game, says Tiger 11. It could be a very close game between Ulster and the Bulls. I see that the Bulls come in a slight favourite. They've got a few Springboks returning for that game. Ulster, they have been tough. Their first match. They did have a postponement in their last round though, so maybe a little bit well rested. We're going to throw this one in now. Ronan Kelleher goes to the front. Finds the hands of Alex Soroka, so straight back into the action. Now slinging it across Frawley. Finding the hands of Henshaw, looping around. Nicely done here from Leinster. Get into wide to James, though, 22 metres from the line. Lorenzo Julius making the crucial low tackle, 15 metres out. Finton Gunn tries to pick and go. But he is tackled by Pepsi Buthelezi. Tyke Furlong plays halfback. Great to see him back. And a Leinster kit, the Irish international. Ronan Kelleher with the spin. 10 metres from the line now. Tried to go with a pick and go there. Ryan Beard, and he's knocked it on. Just trying to pick that ball up. Didn't quite take it cleanly. And the Sharks will now have themselves the scrum. Last season, the South African teams were poor until Christmas. Only a few box available. And better shape this year. And 4 pass doesn't exist anymore. They don't normally, to be fair. Like, there's been a lot of 4 passes lately that don't get caught. I mean, just look at that Australia-Argentina final pass that led to Australia getting themselves 2 bonus points. Some big contact there. And Ryan Beard now staying down with a bit of an injury. A few of these guys taking some big knocks early. We even saw Frawley actually go down in the warm-up for the Leinster side. It looks like he's going to be able to continue in this game. Ryan Beard, just a bit of a knock. The Sharks, they are 10 metres out from their own try line. Need to put this ball in. It will be Jaden Hendrikse. This is where the Sharks either need a penalty or they need to just get it out of their own 22. Average, you're looking absolutely fabulous again after all this commentary, says Ruth. And it is currently 5:38 a.m. here in New Zealand, so the tiredness may kick in by the last game, I would say. But for now, we're relatively wide awake. 5 minutes through in this match. Still 0-0 between the two sides. By this stage, in the Lions versus Benetton match, we actually saw the Lions get themselves the 3. And unfortunately, that was all the points that they got up until the very late stages of the game, with the exception of the Clubber Kanye try. What's the score going to be at halftime? 3 tries? I think we're going to see a few. It's going to be hard for either of these sides to, I think, not score throughout this first half. And 5:38 p.m. in Ireland, says Patrick. And let's always start slow. Yeah, I think as long as they get the bonus point from this game, they'll be more than happy. And the Sharks, they're probably a little bit the same. They are considered as massive underdogs for this game. So if they can walk away with 1 or 2 bonus points, that's about all you can really ask for. And if they can somehow pull off a win, of course, that is even better. But Jaden Hendrikse rolling this one back, told to use it. It's ready to go for this clearing kick. Does get it into touch, about maybe 35 metres out from the line now. Leinster are going to have themselves the line out. All the territory at the moment going the way of the home side. Sharks in their game up against the Dragons. They would have been disappointed. Oh, I'm not sure what Jaden Hendrikse was doing there. He just pushed Ronan Kelleher as he was about to throw the ball in for the line out. There's a drop ball from Leinster. Now a bit of a counter-attacking chance here for the Sharks. Ethan Hooker tackled low. Now here comes Vincent Tichuka playing lock for this contest. I didn't think it would be Emmanuel, but Vincent does make the switch. He's normally the captain for the Sharks, or at least he has been throughout the early stages of this URC season. Hendrickse back into the pocket to John Smith. Kicks it downfield, low, waiting for it underneath it. Does nicely, gives it across to Jamie Osborne. Lined up with a good low tackle made by Martin Zima. Hi, all in average, says Robert V. Welcome back. James Lowe, long way off his wing there, but passes it into the hands of Paddy McCarthy. A little chip attempted in behind from Byrne. James Lowe chasing after it. It's nicely taken, though, by John Smith, who covered a lot of ground before he is smashed. And the tackle by Deegan. And the turnover is good for Leinster. Finton Gunn running sideways. Goes for the chip in behind off his left. Sharks 21, Leinster 21. Also, you're saying 2 draws for the Sharks in 2 weeks. In that case, that one hasn't found touch for the Sharks. Jamie Osborne chopped down by Edward van der Merwe. Can't quite make that second one. James Lowe now. Oh, he's in touch there, Ronan Kelleher. It is going to be now the Sharks line out. 43 metres out from their own line. Quick tempo, though, in the early stages of this match. Both sides showing a lot of intent. Leinster mainly having the possession at this point. And Jada must be trying the same trick as Winkgate last season, says Tiger. And game needs a score, says Patrick. Although I don't think, as soon as we see one try, I'm thinking within 5 minutes we're seeing another one. You know, I think it's just that type of matchup there. As soon as one side finds a break, they'll be all good. And my brother, you never disappoint. You deserve Commentator of the Year, says JD Lee. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. You being... Oh. What's happened here? Referee's calling them over. I think... Sounds like it's going to be a scrum for Leinster. As I think they've watched the replay, and Ronan Kelleher may not have been in touch here. Okay, the player wasn't in touch. Touch judge had the flag up very confidently, so it is going to be the scrum feed now for Leinster by the sounds of it. And 21-28 for the Sharks, says Fricky. And the first score will only be in the second half. The first half will be 0-0. I feel like Leinster would be pretty disappointed with a 0-0 score at halftime. They also deserve Insomniac of the Year, says Sakaboli. Yeah, my sleep schedule is still very broken in terms of the hours that I am awake compared to sleep. I think for today I'll just end up staying up and then sleeping during the night. Wait a minute. So it's actually going to be a scrum feed for the Sharks, I think, here. Is the call. Yeah, so Sharks scrum feed 25 metres out from their own line, but the ball wasn't in touch for Leinster. Now ready to put it in, Jaden Hendrickse. And I actually need to get Red Bull to sponsor you, says Patrick. There were rugby players a while ago who were sponsored by Red Bull, weren't there? I think there was Bowden Barrett. I want to say that, who's that winger for Jack Noel? I think he was sponsored by Red Bull. He used to wear Red Bull headgear out on the rugby field. Off to the left, Martin Zima, 25 metres out from their own line here, the Sharks. Doesn't even drink coffee, says Sakabola. A bit of a wrestle there between Marvin O'Ree and also Josh Van den Flair. Around the halfway line, nice take from James Lowe. Thought about offloading, but instead will just get wrestled to ground by Ethan Hooker. 10 minutes through the contest already. It is going to absolutely fly by. Cross kick from Byrne, and it is a good contest in the air from both players. It's gone back onto the side of Leinster once more. At the halfway line again, Finton Gunn. Off to the left, there is an advantage. Josh Van den Flair trying to break through. Tackle attempt of Lukanyoam. Now Finton Gunn off to the left again. Jamie Osborne shoveling it on. This is a lot of space now out wide for Leinster. Max Deegan goes to James Lowe, trying to get round the outside. Little grubber forward. Jamie Osborne takes it, and it will be the try. Emmanuel Tichuka tries to cut him off, but the first try of the contest for Leinster in the 11th minute of the game. It was a nice kick from James Lowe. They may just check to make sure that Jamie Osborne was behind James Lowe at the time that one was kicked. Leo the Lion, the mascot's very happy with that one, but again, in the wider areas of the field, there's just so much space. Oh, he's right in line there, Jamie Osborne. I think he's done extremely well to match that pace of James Lowe. And there goes my 0-0 score for the first half, says Casper. And yeah, Osborne gets a nice bounce of the ball, and Edward van der Merwe ended up missing that one. And here we go, says Michael Hamill, and also the try, says Ruth in there as well. Where can I watch the game? It is available on URC TV. Someone mentioned it's on TG4. And I think there's a couple other options too, depending on where you are in the world though. And here we go, says Michael, and that kick has gone over as well. Making the score now 7-0 in favour of Leinster. And Leinster constantly on attack. Why don't they fear the South African teams enough? Says Cool Story. I mean, at the moment, they're just dominating the territory game as the big difference. So, I don't think that them being constantly on attack is down to them not fearing the South African teams. It's just down to the fact that they're having more of the ball in the earlier stages. Nice backline movement here again for Leinster, going on the outside to O'Brien, who will kick it downfield, although he's kicked it straight out on the full. So it does mean now that it will go right back to where he kicked it from, about 35 metres from their own line. And the Sharks, this is their best attacking chance of the whole half. And Leinster try, says Purple Dragon. Yeah, they were able to get themselves a nice early one in this contest. Ready to throw this one in. It will be Fezambata. Sharks aren't expected to have a huge amount of attack throughout this half. So they have to make the most of it when they do get the opportunities. Now Mbata getting it into the front to Vincent Tichuka. Wonder how late that change was of Jason Jenkins as well. Whether or not they had a lot of time to prepare Tichuka for those lineouts. That's going to be knocked on by Lokanyuam and knocked on by Edward van der Merwe in Premier Sports in the UK. But you're still the better option, Amish, says McNulty Games. Or gamed in there. So yeah, it is greatly appreciated you guys all popping in. Ulster versus the Bulls. The next game that is just around the corner. I am going to be covering it on the channel as well. Yeah, Van der Merwe just not able to rein that one in. Neither was Lukanyuam. And come on the Sharks, says Marion. In there as well. Scrums at the moment. I don't think either side have managed to win themselves a penalty advantage from them. I should mention there's also another game going on at the moment. Glasgow Warriors versus the Dragons. We'll have a quick look and see what the score is there too. Now we have got the offencer, as said, damn it, in there. I assume that is because Leinster are up by 7 points. Average commentary and TV mute, best of the both. Says Patrick. Now Finton Gunn. Put the ball in for this Leinster side who are very dangerous on attack. Why does the ref ignore the forward passes by Leinster? That try should have been disallowed. Says Johan Jacobs. Now going short side, Finton Gunn just pierces through the gap. Great tackle made by Ethan Hooker, but another offload up. And a big knock on from Soroka. Not able to take it cleanly, and they'll go back now for another scrum. I didn't Vince play at lock a couple of times last season. Only briefly. I actually thought that out of the two Tichuka brothers, they would have put Emmanuel into the locking duo, as he has played a few more minutes there throughout his career, but instead going with Vincent. Maybe that's just the fact that he's the skipper and he went, nah, if we've got a gap, I'll fill it. But he certainly won't be as dangerous in that normal loose forward trio role as we've seen throughout the rest of the URC. I think that finding money for bringing the Crusaders into the URC will be better for rugby than 360. Yeah, see, the 360 splits opinions a little bit. And it's a tricky one because, like I've said, if the top players don't take the money, someone will. So it's that question mark for those big, high-paid, well, the highest-paid international athletes. Do they want an even bigger payday, or are they happy with what they're getting? That's the tricky part. Because, once again, if they don't take it, someone will. And great commentary, Ernest from Cape Town, and it is greatly appreciated you being here as well. Only 15 minutes down in this contest, still 7-0 in favour of Leinster, but the Sharks have got themselves the scrum 45 metres out from their own goal line, right in the middle of the park. Hendrickse rolls it back, told to use it, looking off to the left-hand side. Once the hands of Lukanyu, getting it out wide to Makazole Mapimpi for his first carry in quite some time, whether that's for the Sharks or for the Springboks. I do see also that Glasgow are winning 7-0. Kyle Steyn got himself the early try up against the Dragons. That one was scored in the 10th minute, so actually about the same time as the try was scored by Leinster. In fact, just a little bit quicker. Osborne scoring in the 12th. Nice bump off there for John Smith. Moving into the 22. Makazole Mapimpi goes on to Pepsi Buthelezi with a short ball now to Matanzima. 15 metres out from the line for the Sharks. Jaden Hendrickse popping it up to Fezenbata. And come on, Sharks, eat up your opponent. Says Clive. A bit of a misread there in the back line from Jimmy O'Brien, but luckily for him, that ball did not shovel on any further. Big clean out from Vincent Tichuka. Now Jaden Hendrickse off to Emmanuel Tichuka. And that was a good peripheral vision, Hamish says David. Now off to the left-hand side again, Jaden Hendrickse finds Emmanuel Tichuka again. Josh Van den Flair, though, gets over the ball and wins the penalty for Leinster. We have got the, do you mind if I go and watch Downtown Abbey with my mum? Because I don't think the Sharks will win. That is completely fine. We've still got another game round the corner. All the South African haters log off. Who was hating on the South Africans? I assume you're saying from, because ARC said them paper Sharks? Maybe, and Josh is back, says Jimbo, and yeah, certainly having an impact already, the skipper for Leinster. However, there, what do you think about Joe Marler coming back for England this winter? I'll be honest, I hadn't actually heard about it. He does add a little bit. Him and Henry Pollock in the same team will be an interesting dynamic. As the Rikwas not in the URC, they are not, no. So the Rikwas as well as the Cheetahs and also the Pumas and Boland are all missing from this competition. Early jump there from Vincent Tichuka. Leinster hanging on to it that little bit longer before firing it out their back line. Fintingun back into the pocket. This one's going to be kicked high. Taking a long time to come down. Makazole Mapimpi went up for it in the air, but doesn't quite get it. Robbie Henshaw goes off to Kieran Frawley. Bit of a counter ruck from Mapimpi. He was off his feet there, and the advantage now against him too. A penalty on the way of Leinster. They have got the option to go on for 3 here, although it would be quite a tough kick on the angle, about 45 metres out, maybe more. Instead, though, I think they will end up going for the line-out option instead, already 18 minutes through. And for the Sharks, every minute that they are behind in this game, it's going to feel like about 20 seconds. This clock is going to go quick. They have to find their way back into the contest sooner rather than later. Going to be tough to do. All right, looks like Leinster will now have themselves the line-out. Stormers will win this year's URC Championship, seeing that their Rikwas is not there, says Casper. Well, they certainly got off to a great start. Stormers sitting 3 from 3, including a big win over Leinster in round number 1. Flat attacking run forward from Robbie Henshaw. Fintingun with the pick and go. Makazole Mapimpi, though, getting close to the ball. Another advantage going against them. Now O'Brien, drop ball from Deegan. Go back for the penalty. This is a 3 option again, but I think they'll go corner. Just keep on rolling this one towards the Sharks goal line. The last thing that they want to do, though, is give up that chance of getting themselves some form of points, but at the same time, they need bonus points from here on out, Leinster, to try and work themselves back into that top 4. And I do think there is still plenty of time for them to get there, but every extra point could be crucial with how some of the sides have started in this competition. When does Europe Cup start? Investor Cup. Says Patrick, short little set play there from Leinster, only sitting 2 metres out from the line. I believe the first round is going to be in December. I think it's that first week of December that we see the Champions Cup starting up. But just short by a metre here for Leinster. Fintingun joining the breakdown. Looks like they're going to leave it for the bigger forwards. Good run from Deeney. Pick and go from Ronan Kelleher. Another chance there. Soroka. That looked pretty close, but he is just short. Van den Flair waiting for the ball on the short side. Okay, 2 minute body scrum is the comment there from the Welsh referee. So they are going to go back for the scrum here, 5 metres out from the line for Leinster. But first round of the Champions Cup taking place in 55 days. So 6th of December. And the first matches are Sale versus Glasgow and Bayonne versus the Stormers. And then the Bulls have got Bordeaux. Leinster have got Harlequins. That'll be a great game. Always is when those two sides play. And then Toulouse have got the Sharks. That's a tough game for the Sharks. Definitely because they are away from home for that first match. And Sharks will hook them on. Let's get one now. So here's Ruth. And Leinster showing their medal. There's Ruth there too. Hello everyone. Says Annie. Welcome in. Hope you are doing well. Hi everyone. Says Bruce. 5 metres out from the line now. Finton Gunn. Ready to feed this ball and Max Deegan at the back. They might consider either going with Deegan for a pick and go. Or Frawley's got his eyes on James Lowe. James Lowe is on the touchline, ladies and gents. So there might be a cross kick coming here. But Leinster front rows go down. They're going to have to wait a little bit longer. And hi, mate. I hope you are well. Says Regine doing very well. Already 21 minutes down in this contest. And like I said, when every second passes that Sharks are behind, it is just flying by. For the side, Leinster have been in control. They've had good position. There was one time where the Sharks were on attack, but that was shut down by the Leinster captain, Josh van den Flair. And Toulouse have started the season as they finished the last tough visit for the Sharks, says Jimbo. Yeah, the only benefit that they might have is it may be a slightly different looking Toulouse side, but I don't think they'll make a lot of changes there. And I'd assume by then, 56 days, that would almost be the Antoine Dupont return stage too, wouldn't it? After the November internationals. Ready to feed this ball in. Right, Deegan's leaving it. Finton Gunn going in behind. Nice, beautiful inside ball. That is fantastic from Leinster, and the try will be scored. And it's Jimmy O'Brien straight off the training pitch, as they've said. Just a little pop pass on the inside. They may just check to see if it is forward, but if it's not, it's a very nice set play from Leinster. And Toulouse doing well so far in the top 14. Bayern are first. So here's Tigers. Yeah, that'll be a tough game for the Stormers as well. We're going to see it now, though. Finton Gunn, pick and go off the back, and then just that little pop pass up on the inside from Harry Byrne, who does take the huge hit in the process. Well done, Leinster. And I can't watch the Sharks, just silly, says ARC. Well, we hear the referee and the TMO having a little bit of a chat. Oh. Okay, I think they might actually be checking this one for obstruction. And no such thing as a forward pass. So here's Jimbo. Another forward pass. Here's Johan. So yeah, it sounds like obstruction is actually the thing that they were checking, but it's all been cleared by the sounds of it. Time is back on. And Harry Byrne does get the kick over. 23 minutes through, and it is now 14-0 in favour of Leinster. And French fries, says Ruth. I wouldn't mind some French fries. It's currently 6 a.m. though, so I don't think anywhere has French fries at this hour. Okay, I think they were just checking to see whether or not there was a shot from Lucanio arm on the wrong person. Where to watch the rugby when you don't have DSTV. Sadly, not a huge amount of options unless you've got a VPN. If you've got a VPN, you may be able to set yourself to a different country like Ireland and watch on TG4. Pass was so forward, says Jimbo. And time for Plumtree to pack his bag, says Justin. Now Finton Gunn goes across to Kelleher. And again, the backline movement happening here for Leinster. Nice ball from Frawley on the outside to Jimmy O'Brien, the try scorer. And it's going to go downfield big time. Just touching the sideline. Can we get a shout out to Leanne? Watching Stranger Things instead of rugby, says JD. So shout out to Leanne. I actually haven't watched, I don't even know how many seasons of Stranger Things there are now. I think I watched the first 2 seasons when they came out. And then outside of that, I haven't really watched it. It's not on TG4. Sorry, what was the Irish one? The one that had the RTE, wasn't it? RTE player is the option for Ireland. My apologies. You ever had Nando's? I have not. I can only find it on Premier Sports that I'm not subscribed to. So yeah, RTE apparently does have it for free. You just have to put up with the Irish commentary. Is the only thing. And Premier Sports for this one. Now kick downfield to the halfway line. Nicely taken by Jamie. It is Jamie Osborne. Watching from Kenya, enjoying the commentary. RTE have lost the rights So who said earlier on that RTE was showing it? Or who was the one with the Irish commentary for this match? Going off to the right. And use strikeout, says Lincoln. Not on RTE, Gaelic football's on, says Jimbo. Now this one's going up high. I see taken. Sean Smith's been cut in half by that tackle. TG4. Wait, so it's not on TG4, but some are saying it's on TG4. That's diving in off the feet from Frezembata, and a great steal there from Leinster. Managed to get that ball back again. James Lowe offloading up on the outside. Kicked him behind by Ryan Beard. Our Irish commentary usually means TG4, says operator. And TG4 showing Connacht, says Patrick. I've been told to use it again. Big collision there for Ryan Dreyer, and another penalty to Leinster. TG4 showing the Connacht game later tonight, says Richard. And whoever's given everything to Leinster, says Skywalker. And TG4 says Tiger XI. And also Go the Sharks, says Lwanda. Shout out to Jamie and Lilla. Watching from Cardiff, says, I assume you're the Jamie part of it. But yeah, shout out to Lilla as well. That's a great bit of work from Edward van der Merwe initially to keep it on the side of the Sharks. But then Jamie Osborne get him through the middle. And managing to get that steal. I believe they are going to go for the corner again here. Leinster just looking to keep on applying that pressure. 10 metres out from the line for Ronan Kelleher and his throw. It's nicely taken again. Josh Finn and Flair. This one's rolling backwards here for Kelleher at the moment. Finton Gunn gets that ball back off to the right-hand side. And TG4 has the Connacht game. A premiere is this game. Says Tiger 11 and also Bulls, Leinster and Stormers will be the final three in this URC competition and might give Leinster some cards too later. Says Bruce, Van den Flair straight through. And the captain scores the try. That looked a little bit too easy. After only one or two phases inside of the Sharks 22, Leinster bust through again. And they get themselves another, although I think I just do time off. I think they're just going to check this one. It's midnight here in Thailand. Says Michael there. Right, what happens here that causes such a massive gap? So Finton Gunn. No, that's just a good try, unfortunately, there. I think they got lured in by the short run from Paddy McCarthy. Josh Finn and Flair going straight through and themselves another one. And Premier Sports have exclusive rights to one game each week in Ireland. This one is their one this week. Says Ophelia. I can't watch the Sharks. It's just so bad. But the coach keeps his job and sees a very one-sided game here at the moment. They are working their way towards that 27 points difference, which they were expected to win by at the start of this game. Leinster will win here, says Gerhard. And WF Sharks says Sakabola. Now 28 minutes through and 21-0 for this Leinster side. Anyone wondering about the other game of the URC? The Dragons are playing Glasgow, and George Horn got himself the try in the 25th minute, 14-0 for Glasgow over the Dragons at the moment. Great try. And dummy run, suck it in the defence, says Jimbo. Disappointed. Are there any Springboks back for the Sharks? Many Springboks back. They have got Ethan Hooker. They've got Makazole Mapimpi. They will have Bongi Umbanambi and Vincent Koch, both making their way off the bench. They have got Lucanio Am, who's expected to make his way back into the Springboks in the near future. They've got Edward van der Merwe, who is expected to get back there soon, as well as Vincent Tuchuka. So they got a fair few in the lineup. Excited to see Pollard in the Bulls jersey today. It's going to be awesome. See what Andre Pollard can do for that matchup. And yes, Leinster, keep it up. Says Purple Dragon. Got the face palm there from Lilia there as well. Halftime break will be a dark night for the Sharks players. And number 3 back to business as usual. There was the knock-on from James Lowe. Currently, Leinster, they are one try away from the bonus point already in this matchup. 29 minutes through. So they've still got, theoretically, another 51 minutes to try and make something happen. Looks like Leinster are back to form. Says Patrick. Yeah, a few big players returning, and they've already made a massive difference. I think that Jamie Osborne, out of everyone who's been playing, well, I guess Van der Flair as well, you've got to give him a lot of credit. But like Jamie Osborne's been in such control for this back line. Looks like Ryan Beard just getting a little bit of a tension on his leg at the moment here for the Leinster number 5. Did I say 3 tries first half, says Ruth? I believe you did, from memory. The question is it only going to be 3? Does Leinster look like they want another one? The Sharks haven't looked like scoring a huge amount as of yet, but that does not mean they can't sneak one at some point throughout this first half. Is Leinster about 75% first choice Irish players? If so, the Sharks not doing that bad, says on the right. I'd say, I don't know if I'd give them 75% for this game, but it's definitely, you call it over 50% at the moment looking at them. Now ready for the scrum again, and Sharks look defeated already. It's tricky though. As soon as you go down by 2 tries, you're always playing catch-up. And the URC, we haven't seen many sides be able to fire back from that type of margin. Not quickly anyway. Fintan Gunn looks very sharp and really cooking since he started getting a shot in scrum half position. Absolutely, he's been looking the real deal here. And the fact that he's keeping McGrath on the bench, and I think he will be for a lot of the season too if he keeps on playing the way that he is here. Now Frawley, ball on the outside. The hands of O'Brien, who cuts back into Renzo Julius, making the tackle there. Now passed across the left-hand side. Nicely done. Tyke Furlong. Tackled by his opposite number there. Now wide cut-out pass stolen by Ethan Hooker. He's got plenty of pace. He might have enough. Yes, he does, Ethan Hooker, to score the try for the Sharks. That is all it takes. Just one little mistake from Leinster, maybe getting a little bit too over-exuberant and throwing too many risks. Game over for the Sharks, says Rudol. And the other, they have now just scored to get back into it. And we have got there as well. He is most likely third choice, but is as fast as Gibson Park. Yeah, the ball out wide, thrown by Leinster. And that was maybe, like I said, a bit of overconfidence, thinking that everything's going to stick for Harry Byrne. It would have debatably been Ford anyway. And then Ethan Hooker, just the acceleration off the mark. He also only had Brian Deeney to beat in the foot race. And he'll be pretty happy with that. One of the easier tries that he will score throughout his Sharks career. Now let's go, Ethan. Says Lilia be there, and yes, says Sakabola. Now lining up this kick. It's a bit interesting. The referee actually walking behind the player as he was trying to take that kick for John Smith. I think that would put him off a little bit. But 31 minutes through, and there's going to be 21 points to 5 between these two teams. A bad pass or Ethan Brilliance? I would say bad pass. To be honest, great acceleration from Ethan Hooker to get away afterwards. But that pass, he tried to throw it about 30 metres off to the side and also about a metre forward. And it was one of the floatiest things you'd ever see in terms of wide cut-out pass. So if Ethan Hooker hadn't got into it, I think there'd be more concern, if that makes sense. Well, try, says Jean. And Fintan Gunn will probably be man of the match, says Casper. And come on the Sharks, says Alter. Leinster 10 tries, says Neil. So going with a high score in second half. Ethan Hooker chasing after this one, slapping it back onto the side of the Sharks. And he is definitely a momentum player. When he gets one big moment, it seems to be that really fires him up for the game. We have there. Hooker should have scored under the sticks. Lazy mind, says Jimbo. Now this one's going to be kicked towards the touchline from Harry Byrne. And again, the Sharks are going to be in a decent attacking position. Still another 8 minutes remaining of the first half. We have there. I always have not been a fan of this blitz defence, says Tiger 11. The awkward bouncing ball for Jamie Osborne. And Shark Effect says Lawanda. And there too. Fezambata. You're going to throw this one in. They're going to go to the front. Vincent Tachuka taking it off the back. Pipsi Buta lazy going to Henriksen now. A little pop pass up from Lucanio Arm to his centre teammate in Lorenzo Julius. Leinster 10s and throwing intercept tries. And there, wasn't the best pass from Harry Byrne. Although he did have the assist, the try beforehand. So he's had a bit of a mixed bag so far. No conversion, Marnie Kiki. Says Booster, g'day, Hamish from the kitchen. I'm making barbecue ribs with whiskey sauce. says Darren. Sounds all right, doesn't it? It's currently 6 a.m. here in New Zealand, so I think breakfast will be in a few hours' time. This one's going to be kicked high from Hendrickse. Going up for Ethan Hooker, does knock it on. The advantage now, and that looked a little bit high from Nick Haddon. It's going to now be the penalty going the way of Leinster, and they were just the 5 metres out from their line. Haddon apologises to his teammates. He's disappointed with that one. Sharks not swimming. My 21-21 prediction is still possible. Says Casper. Now Burnt kicks this one into touch. Hamish, you can't get takeaways delivered Uber. Sadly not. Too small of a town, so we don't actually have like takeaway. Well, I guess the only like delivery of takeaway is if you go and get it yourself and then go to your house. Ronan Keller asking for a little bit more space in this line out. They are sitting 35 metres from their own line, Leinster. Thrown into the back. All taken by Ryan Beard. Finton gun. A step here from Max Deegan. For Ollie, I say wouldn't have done one. Says Tiger 11. Now kicked high by Finton gun. This one taking a long time to come down. James Lowe slapping it back onto the side of Leinster, and it's cleaned up by Gunn. Leinster swimming between the Sharks. Says Casper. James Lowe plays half. Thought for a second that he was considering a box kick, but instead Finton Gunn says, no, I'll do that one off his left boot. James Lowe chasing after it. Going up for the ball. It is Edward van der Merwe that wins the aerial challenge, though. Leinster trying to get into the breakdown. Dropped backwards by Hendrickse. AC's more downward as the population. I believe town itself is like 4,000, but then like rural area as well, maybe like 7, if you're lucky. Now rolling this one back. Hendrickse again told to use it. Let's go downfield. Ethan Hooker going for the aerial challenge. Jamie Osborne, I believe it's bounced maybe forward off him, but it is going to be play on down the short side. Josh Van der Fleer, he was out. Looks like it's going to be play on still, and kicked him behind by Marvin O'Ree. Does get it into touch. A decent little boot from O'Ree. Gets it now 10 metres out from Leinster's line. And defence leading his Sharks down, says Ruth. Yeah, every once in a while, there's just that big break. And we see that opportunity that opens up for the Leinster side. But if the Sharks can sort that out heading into the second half, you know, they just need to find a try that isn't off an intercept. Build a bit of confidence with ball in hand, get some position. And a line-out steal here would do that. Getting ready to jump up for this one here for Leinster. Oh, Vincent Tachuka almost got the fingertip to it. Max Deegan charging forward. Foria's tackled by Ruan Rea. A little bit of physicality in the breakdown from Matanzima. James Lowe off his left boot. Does clear the lines again. Hamish, my kind of town. Says Clinton there. And John Smith was the best Sharks player ever, says Casper. And come on, the Sharks need a joint for this, says Jean. And a few that is small. And Lecker, go the Sharks, answer the commentary, says Margaret. And then we have still got one more game round the corner. Bulls versus Ulster as well. So that should be hopefully a very close fixture. The Bulls come in as slight favourites, and it will be Andre Pollard's first game in a Bulls kit for quite some time. On out throw for Fezambata trying to go to the front, but Pepsi Buthelezi has knocked that ball on. Now, again, James Lowe off his left. Kicks it this time down the middle of the field. Nicely taken by Ethan Hooker across to Edward van der Merwe. Two-man tackle on him. That looked a little bit high from Deegan. It looks like maybe Deegan has hurt himself there. Nice short ball from Vincent Tachuka. Finds Hatton. Pop pass from Jaden Hendrickse. Tries to go to Dreyer, who wasn't ready for it. And I think he's gone over to Hendrickse and said, look, mate, I'm a prop. Like, try that fancy stuff with the backs. Right, Deegan may have to go off the field here for an HIA, but in which case, I think they'd have to check this because surely that's head on head. Oh, no, he got the shoulder in the end. Max Deegan, a bit of an awkward one for him. It does look like he's a bit wobbly. He will have to go off for the HIA. And line-out play played in the air. Says Johan, I assume you're talking about Pepsi Buthelezi, but in that case, because he jumped into it, it is his own fault. That rule's been debated a long time, but recently they did change it in the last couple of years. that if you jump into a tackle, it is your own doing, because or else you can literally milk it all you wanted, or at least you could a couple years ago. So that one was completely fine and just a knock on. Now we're going to stop the fancy stuff, Sharks, and focus on the game in front of you. Bad ref? No, that what I just described is what that call was. It was the right decision for that one, because they did change that rule. How if you jump into a challenge, you get yourself in trouble. We have got their Box will win the next World Cup. Says me to know. And also, Hamish, will you go for the Spur Unreal Breakfast, because nobody supports him financially on this channel? Says Casper. What is the Spur Unreal Breakfast? What is that? I'll probably just have toast. Is that counted as that? Why is Edwill not a regular Box? He was injured for a relatively long time, which is why he was left out. But I would say he'll be still in that wider squad of Rasi. Perhaps we'll see him in November. Although I'm not sure whether or not they'll stick him out on the left, the right wing, or maybe they'll consider him as a fullback option now that he's playing 15 for the Sharks. However, their Sharks lost their way. How about Riquas, Curry Champs? Where are their money? Says him. And also we have got their line out. Says, oh, it's a penalty going the way of Leinster there. A little bit of wheeling from the Sharks front row. And we have got their need it. Hope the weather better. An overcast here in Johannesburg. Missed the Cape, says Jean. I think they've just said there that maybe the Sharks got a bit unlucky with that scrum. Leinster were getting driven fully backwards. Now 90 seconds remaining in the half, and Leinster will have their last attacking chance. Sharks lost their way. And also, we've got their hit the like button right. They are saying there, the Irish commentators are saying they would have given that as a penalty to the Sharks for the way that they were able to push there. Bad decision, that says Jimbo. Now ready to throw this one in for Leinster. Now one try away from that bonus point, going into the back. Now getting that rolling maul moving. All stolen though by the Sharks. Martin Zima with a little bit of a step, and he sits down Finton gun. Beans on toast, Hamish on toast. Oh, sorry, beans on toast. You know you want to, Hamish? I'll probably just go toast. If I was going to have anything on toast, I'll probably have an egg. I haven't really had beans. In fact, I don't think I've ever had beans that I can think of anyway. And Lilia B, says Luke. This one's going to be put forward now, not back by James. A bit of an awkward landing for him and Ethan Hooker. Finton gun cutting back inwards, tackled by Hooker again. Martin Zima tackling McCarthy. And Eek says Usikoloshe. Yeah. And Glasgow latest. At the moment, Glasgow for me are still 14-0. And their game up against the Dragons. Now breaking the line, but James Lowe cutting back on the inside, looking to link up. Henshaw does knock it on. And I believe that will be now half-time between these two sides. 21 points to 5 for this match. Spur Unreal Breakfast is 2 eggs, 2 toast, small chips, and fried tomato, and 2 small slices of bacon. See, that sounds a bit too fancy for my liking. I'll probably just have toast. We have got there, thanks, buddy, says Luke. And also, hi, Luke, says Lilia. And also, we have got there the Scrumpy Jack Pub on the road here as a full English breakfast for 55 Rand. That seems very cheap for a full breakfast. A half-time, 21 points to 5. Why is Jordy Barrett not being played in today's game? Because he's no longer with Leinster. He is with the Hurricanes. Rico Ioane, he's heading to Leinster next year. So he will be picking up from, in fact, it might even be December that Rico heads to Leinster. But yeah, Jordy Barrett was only a short sabbatical. He's no longer with Leinster. But Arges Neyman is. So he'll be back with them soon too. Leinster front row swap. I'll bring Sharks back into this. Says Jimbo. Yeah, I think that the game, don't get me wrong, it's been pretty dominant in terms of possession and territory for Leinster. But the Sharks, just that one interception try from Ethan Hooker has given them a little bit of belief that they will be able to somehow get back into this. Player of the first half, it's got to be the Josh Van den Flair, Jamie Osborne, or Finton Gunn. And to be fair, you probably got a decent argument for James Lowe too. So I'd probably go with one of those guys. There's Rico. also going for that short sabbatical. He is, yes. So he'll be gone for about 6 months, missing the Super Rugby season. So yeah, they've pretty much taken one New Zealand centre and swapped him for the next New Zealand centre. But it will be interesting to see how Ioane actually fits into this Leinster side, whether or not they'll put him in the midfield or whether they consider him as a winger. Because he's not taking James Lowe's jersey. But maybe during that Six Nations period where there is that little bit of URC taking place, that's probably where we're going to see Rico really get minutes. Anyway, effing commentator, says Felix Gamer. Fun fact, you don't have to listen. You can go away. You don't have to stay. Fun fact. But appreciate the feedback. Thanks for telling us what we did wrong. I agree with Jamie Osborne. Yeah, he's been really strong throughout this first half. Also managed to score himself the early try in the half as well. One toast is not enough to support the body for more than 15 minutes. You need something else. I have 2 pieces. Then I got 30 minutes in me. And what is the closest town to you? I would say closest probably, or the biggest. The biggest is probably Timaru, I guess. I think they've got like 20,000. Somewhere around there. Rico comes into the Leinster team in December after the Autumn Internationals, but if Rico isn't in the All Blacks lineup, will he come earlier? Probably not. I think he's only booked in for the sabbatical between December and the kind of middle stage. So, yeah, I don't think he will, but he also probably is still going to be in Razor's squad. And if he's not in the All Blacks, he'll be in the All Blacks XV. So I feel like either way, he's going to be somewhere, you know. Toast with a runny egg and chopped avocado, Hamish, says Darren. And we have got there about McCarthy, says Ruth. That's so Ethan Hooker is playing now. That's why he's not posting in the comments. Remember that fake one, says Bruce? I do remember the fake one who said that he was on the plane home while he was messaging the chat. We worked out who that was, though. And it was not the real Ethan Hooker in that scenario. But second half just about to get underway. What we will quickly do is we will go like this. There we go. These are the players who will be making their way off the bench. Now, we have already seen a couple of players looking like they were going to make their way off the field, and that is just due to a few knocks along the way. But I think that having Bongyum Manambi as well as having Vincent Koch in the later stages, that's going to help massively. 1 second, we'll go like this. We'll go like this as well. They're just showing that try of Josh Van der Flair. It just looked too easy. It's a massive gap there. Sia Masuku making his way off of the bench. It offers you a very strong kicking option for the Sharks. They are sitting 0 from 1 at the moment. Leinster looking pretty handy in general throughout this game. 21-0. The 3 kicks all going over from Byrne. And we have got their best breakfast, coffee toast and a boiled egg. I think I'll rotate them like they did with Geordie Barrett, 12, 15 and 23. With Rico, you'd be 11, 13 and 14 and 23. What do you think? Yeah, I think that they'll probably mix and match depending on who's available. And probably true. Good analysis, Hamish, says Kevin. We have got there in South Africa, the best breakfast is a double brandy and a Coke, says Clinton there. Well, there you go. It's quite the breakfast to be able to have. Do you have any food with it? Or is it just, you just start on a liquid diet? Kinky says, Ruth, I missed the first part of your joke by the looks of it. But looking through at what is to come for these two sides, Leinster, they will be playing up against Munster in their next contest of the URC, 5:15 a.m. New Zealand kickoff time. I believe that will be a 5:15 p.m. game for you guys in Ireland, and then also for the South Africans, it will be a 6:15. And in terms of their game the week after, they are up against Zebra in that matchup. And then in terms of the Sharks, they've got Ulster as well as the Scarlets as their next 2 games. But the big news for the Sharks is they are both at home for those games. So quite a crucial time. Try and turn around this momentum. They've had a rough start to this URC. Of course, there's food, says Black Sarmon. And Biltong, says Clinton there. And also, why do you put soft drinks in your liquor? Says Jimbo. Had a bit of fizziness, doesn't it? I feel like that's just a normal thing to do, you know. People normally go with the vodka and Coke or the vodka and Fanta or lemonade. Lemonade's one. They made, what's the one here that tastes, I'm trying to think. I think it's George's brother loves an apple cider because it just tastes like it's non-alcoholic, and he wants down to about 12 of them. Leinster bottom of the table, says Dazza. Yeah, not for long though. I think they will start to climb up, and I can guarantee you they will be top 8 by the end of the season, if not top 4, as they have looked the goods in this matchup, getting themselves 3 tries already, and just that interception try of Ethan Hooker was scored. Just showing it's not a massive crowd, unfortunately, for this match. We have got their bacon and cheese sandwiches or pizza, says Ruth. Currently still separated, these two sides, by 16 points. Now, last game, Lions versus Benetton. Heading into the second half, they were down by 14. And they went on to then concede the early 3. If you regularly drink clean vodka, you need help, says Sakabola. An intercepted pass was a serious facepalm moment, says Jimbo. Fluffy pancakes drizzled with maple syrup, crispy bacon, fresh strawberries, and a steaming cappuccino. Perfectly indulgent. I served on a sunny patio, says Casper. I think Rico will probably start in the Champions Cup. Yeah, there seemed to be one that Geordie Barrett really did enjoy, the fact that there was the Champions Cup as well as the URC, little bit of the split where you could play them both. And the Bulls played this weekend. They have not. They are the next team to be playing. They will be playing in around an hour and 15 minutes time in their contest up against Ulster. So it'll be a good game. Leinster need more first-team players back, like Gibson Park. I mean, they're winning this game 21-5. And Finton Gum was one of the best players out there on the field for the first half. So I feel like they haven't done that badly under not having a couple of their main guys back. But also, we've got to remember, there are things like to deal with, such as injuries. I don't indulge in alcohol, but I do have a liquor license, says Bruce. I just got home from work. I say everything living in Ireland. I'm getting comfy for the coverage, says Invictus there. Yeah, it's been an eventful first half. We did see Josh Van den Flair score himself a try as the skipper. We also saw Jamie Osborne score. And then the other try. Who scored the other try? Jimmy O'Brien was the other man who scored. And then Ethan Hooker scored the try for the Sharks. I want to be Plumtree. You have an unbelievable squad and you keep underperforming and you don't get fired, says WLK. And what do the Sharks need to get right to get back into this game? I think they just need more possession. Like, territory's all well and good, but they weren't making a lot of the territory that they had. So if they can get their hands on the ball for more than a few phases at a time, try and slightly break down this Leinster defence, having Barrett, he has brought Osborne on nicely, says Jimbo. And they need to score tries, says Sakabula. And I also hear Thomas Tatoya is going back to the Sharks next season. Yeah, that is the rumour that is going around that I think has been confirmed, hasn't it? And Leinster got a bit of a lead, they do. So the Sharks, they need a try early on here, or else they're in big trouble. But, you know, we will wait and see. I think we'll go like this. And we will go like this as well. There we go. All right, waiting for the second half to get back underway. I don't think we'll be a mile away from the second starting. Our hotel ran out of beer. They underestimated how much South Africans drink. Twickenham Travel Lodge says on the right. And Hamish, what are you dressing up for as this Halloween? I've actually got something planned. It's nothing too special, I will mention. But it is, it will be, I'm trying to work out what stream would be on Halloween. What date is Halloween? Is it the 28th? 1 second. Halloween. It's the 31st. Jeez, I've misread that, didn't I? 31st of October. Have we got any rugby games on that day? I know that there's a couple that take place early on in the international window. 25th. No, there's not actually any games on the 31st. So I'll either have to go early or late. Probably early, I would say, is the more likely. I think Leinster could get 50 if they score next, says Patrick. Yeah, I think Osborne in particular has learned a lot playing with Geordie Barrett, says Dazza. Ethan Hooker's intercept was one-handed and successful. Why do the rest assume one-handed intercept are deliberate foul, says Doon? Depends on how far out you're reaching. Like, for instance, Kane and Moody, that was a clear yellow card when he did it in the other game. But, yeah, it depends because it's just the way that the laws are written. That if you decide to reach out with one hand, you are putting yourself in a position where you look like you're still trying to slap it. And Halloween is the 31st every year. We have got there 31st October. You can see how much they celebrate it here in New Zealand. Normally what happens on Halloween here is you hide, you pull the curtains, and you hope no one knocks on your door. And if they do, you have to give them an apple because you never really are prepared for Halloween. But we'll be kicked off now for the second half here. Harry Byrne to get us back underway. The reason it's at the Aviva is because the RDS get an expansion next season. Games will return. So here's Tiger. I'm rolling this one back. Jaden Hendrickson inside of his own 22. Now, it will be a Makazolima Pimpy. Takes it nicely. Under the high ball. No wheat bix. So here's Sakabola. Trick or treat, says Ruth. Rolling it back. Hendrickson. He only just did that. But now he's doing it again. Okay, low budget. So yeah, guess what, for Halloween or just, like, no one really cares about it here. It's not really one that's celebrated. Now, nice run from Soroka. However, there and fast, says Sakabola. And there as well, back to Harry Byrne. And that one's going to be slapped back. It's just an aerial battle at the moment. Both sides. Oh, another kick. Downfield this time, Harry Byrne looking for the 50-22, but Hendrickson was back as a bit of a fumble of the ball. It goes backwards. We have got there, Hamish, do you think the defence of the Sharks is a problem? It certainly hasn't been its best as of late, and when they do concede cheap tries, that's where it gets so difficult because they have to work so hard to get their tries when they score them. Whereas it just seems to be, I don't know, it's a lot harder for them to score than it is for their opposition, it looks anyway. It'll be Ghost playing on Wizards on the 31st, says Michael. And get some points for the first half, says Marion. And I popped out a day before, didn't want to share my birthday. People dressing up for something else, says Clinton. That one's going to be knocked on, I thought, by Leinster. That is a forward pass, though, anyway. We all go back for the scrum in favour of the Sharks. Again, it seems like we're at that feeling out process early on. Hi, Hamish, says Craig. Welcome in again. And get some points next half, says Madigan. And as a Bull supporter, come on the Sharks, says Robert. Yeah, it's tricky. Leinster are probably one try away from feeling pretty comfortable in this game and going on to win it by a decent margin. The Sharks are one try away from getting back into this, making it a real challenge for Leinster throughout the last 35 minutes or so. Just give €5 to anyone who rings the bell. I might get 3 or 4 callers. Says Patrick. It probably works as well. Although some parents do get annoyed if you give if you give their children money. I think that can get you in a bit of trouble. So it's one of those ones you just can't win. You're better off hiding. Okay, the Sharks. This half is yours, says Clinton. Now going forward. Big push there from Leinster, who were claiming the win at scrum time, but it is going to be another reset. And Deegan had Osborne on his shoulder for the try, says Jimbo. And come on the Sharks, says Craig. And there as well. Got 2 games just around the corner. Ulster versus the Bulls. That is the one that we are covering. But there is also Cardiff versus Connacht as an upcoming match as well. Plenty more action in this round of the URC. Now Hendrickson. It's felt like we've played at a little bit of a slower tempo for the second half. We've seen scrums. We've seen a lot of kicking already throughout just the first 4 minutes of this half. Oh, and free kick goes the way of the Sharks. A little bit too early. Yeah, from Leinster. Not keeping the space is the comment there from the referee. Now it looks like they are just going to go for the big up and under Chasing after this one and lining it up. It is Muckers. All him up and B knocks it back to Haddon. I'm a Durban boy. See, here's Craig there. Now Hendrickson back across to the right. I mentioned about position, how important it would be for the Sharks. But once again, it seems to be every third phase they want to kick the ball away. And they've done it again. Advantage now over for that knock-on initially. Harry Byrne looking for it, although he might have knocked it on again there. Yes, he has. Edward van der Merwe kicking it into touch. Will now be the line out for Leinster. So you have half-time on your scoreboard, says Peter Mason. It hasn't updated yet. One moment. We'll shake our mouse around. See whether or not it behaves. Leka Thunderstorm, you're in Joburg now, says Stephanie. And also go the Sharks, says Johan. And also we have got our ref is listening to Lilia. Now what about a psycho surgeon? My ex-boss did that. I was funny in the surgeon. Green gown with fake blood all over, very messy. Says Ruth. We have got something planned. I don't know how well it's going to work, but hopefully it does. It'll probably be for that Japan versus Australia game, to be fair, or maybe one of those ones of the URC, just with the timings of the games. So I would say probably maybe Benetton Stormers will be the game that we end up having it for. So difficult to beat Leinster at their home. So here's Eric. Yeah, the Sharks have never done it. Throughout the URC, they sit 4-1. In terms of 4 losses, 1 win up against Leinster when they were able to beat the Leinster boys. It was when they were in South Africa. There's going to be joining the breakdown from the side from Nick Haddon. Another penalty goes the way of Leinster. In fact, it was against Marvin O'Ree. And Stormers on top of the log. If I'm right, you are indeed. Although I think that the Bulls can overtake them if they got a bonus point win over Ulster. I think they're the only side that can catch them, theoretically. Maybe Sharks going to smash it second half. And they've had a bit of a slower start for the second 40 minutes. They're only 6 minutes through the second half. And Leinster now on attack. 22 metres out from the line. James Lowe taking contact with Emmanuel Tichuka. Finton Gun up to Josh Van and Flair. Runs high and hard at the Sharks defence. Finton Gun goes short side. Lobby pass over the top from Robbie Henshaw. Cutting back into Soroka. Now short ball to Paddy McCarthy. And never the Bulls will lose. Stormers too good. Says Bristol, although the Bulls are favourites in their game up against Ulster. They have got Andre Pollard in that 10 jersey. Maka van Staden in the 4-pack. Kanan Moody 13. Billy LaRue is in there too. How what do you think of the Bulls' chances against Ulster? I think that they're decent, to be fair. Oh, nice run here from Jaden Hendrickson. No, in fact, it was Lorenzo Julius. Now Makazole Mapimpi on the short side. Hendrickson tries to milk it. The referee has to give him the penalty. That was one of those ones that the referee really didn't want to give, but if it wasn't for the teammate of the Sharks dropping it. Right. Hendrickson just made himself even less popular with Irishmen after his winking debacle. We have got their Sharks are slowly learning to play this useless ref. Hopefully it's not too late, says Johan, and that is sometimes the part of rugby. Learn how to adapt to a referee. There was something throughout the Rugby Championship that in that game between New Zealand and Australia just didn't do. Gave away a lot of penalties for the same things over and over without learning exactly what the referee was going to penalise them for. So I do think that the Sharks' discipline starting to get a lot better here because they have worked out, right, what can we get away with, what can't we get away with? Looks like at the moment Ruandrea has got blood streaming from his nose. I'm doing another commentary after this. I certainly am. We have got the Bulls versus Ulster match. Can't see Sharks getting 21 points. Says Peter Mason. And try a bonus point. And the Rugby Championship would change URC for the better. Says Jimbo. Now what's wrong with the ref? Don't blame the referee, says Ruth. And also we have got their rugby in South Africa is back on track. URC is good. Bolland club rugby teams are doing good. Don't know if you know about top 12. I do not know about top 12, no. Unless, is that, it might actually, I know that for one of the Curry Cup games, they had one guy from each rugby team racing. Was that the top 12 players? They're there, but Vincent Koch now on the field for Ruandrea. I don't think they've made the change of Bongi Umbanambi as of yet. As I think Fezambata gets to play for just that little bit longer. Oh, okay, they're checking something on the screen here. And Sharks is the best no matter what. Well, every week, one or two teams from South Africa lose. So how is it on track for South African rugby, says Cameron? Well, the URC, you're never going to have everyone winning every single week. Like, no matter what. As soon as you have an away game, your chances of winning go down drastically. Very surprising. Sharks getting hammered. Their Springboks back, says Cameron K. Okay, so it is Ruan Dreyer who's actually taken the collision with Josh Van den Flair. Yeah, he's too upright there. He might actually get a yellow card for the time that he is off the field, getting stitched up. So in that case, it would actually mean that Vincent Koch has to go back off the field because they would have to play with 14. Right, referee's got a decision. I'm seeing... Right. He's at a penalty only, this referee. And penalty only, no forward motion by him. I mean to say overseas, says Cameron K. Well, the Sharks have been overseas for 3 weeks now, says Cameron K. And good call, says Jimbo. And South Africa focus on the biggest trophies. World Cup titles, Rugby Championship, and British and Irish Lions Series titles. Says Eric there. Okay, they're not seeing it as a high degree of danger. So it's just going to be the penalty against the Sharks. This is where Leinster, they could take 3. We have the yes, Eric, always the go-to when your team suck. Jeez, that's brutal, but... Second, we'll go like this. Go like that and like that. At the moment, in the other game, between Glasgow and Dragons, it's 28-0. So Glasgow actually starting to run away with that one. Hiddleston and Gregor Brown, the true try scorers in the second half. Sharks giving away a lot of penalties. Thank you, says Michael. And Sharks are very unlucky. Nothing is going their way. Ref, as always. As well at the Aviva. To be fair, referee could have yellow carded him for that one. You know, we've seen them given his yellows before. It would have been harsh. But the Sharks, you know, they didn't receive a yellow there. So I think they'll be happy enough. The fact that that wasn't given is anything more. And Bulls team 2 mixed. Too many changes. Be a big surprise if they win at the Ulster Fort. Or Ulster Fort, big underdogs. They actually come in as favourites. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people chucking money on Ulster then in that case. Hello, says Christo. Welcome in again. Now Finton Gun going off to the right-hand side. This game's had a little bit of a standstill, but Leinster trying to find their way over the try line yet again. Sharks is letting Leinster get over them. Too much, says Briston. Now told to leave it in the breakdown. Pick and go around the side for Ryan Beard. Smashed around by Vincent Koch as well as Martin Zima. Out, Finton Gun. Popping it out to the left-hand side. Soroka, in fact, it's Deegan cuts inwards and gets the try. That is the bonus point now for Leinster. Hey, Gavin, you don't even know which team I support. Says Eric, and also this team makes me sick. Says Jaden Philander, and some players play much better for their country rather than their club, even Kulisi. Too easy, says Jimbo. Jason and Leinster get over them too much in the try, says Briston there, but Max Deegan cutting back inwards. And yeah, just nice sell on the outside. Gets around Emmanuel Chichuka. I don't think wanted to be defending out wide with 3 players running at them. And Sharks hard done by. As in like for that try or just the penalty count? 26-5. See, we'll go like this. It might be because of the fact that I mentioned that Glasgow were 28-0 up. Maybe that caused them to try and speed it up a little bit more. But 50 minutes through at the moment. Jaden Milkshake. How do you play like that, Sharks? Says Briston. A very good running from the Irish here, says Ruth. Score now sitting 26-5. Tyke Furlong making his way off of the field. And that is where someone mentioned earlier on that maybe that's when the Sharks could try and find themselves a little bit of something here. I do also see that Sia Masuku has made his way onto the field for the Sharks. So making a few early switches here, hoping to find some sort of momentum. As a disgrace, another forward pass. So here's Johan. Now, going off to the left-hand side. That one's going to be kicked downfield. Nicely taken. So how many of the passes or how many of the tries so far, Johan, do you think should be disallowed out of curiosity? Of their 4. Because I don't think you'd say all of them. So either way, they're probably still leading at this stage of the contest. Support the Bulls and the Stormers for the URC games. Says Christo there, another advantage, this time in favour of the Sharks. Lorenzo Julius trying to find his way through. Frawley getting into the breakdown. Big clean out from Makazole Mapimpi. It is going to be the scrum feed for the Sharks. Sharks has raised the white. F jersey says Eric. How's Plumtree still there? Says Sakabola. And South African team struggling today so far, says Colin. Yeah, we did see the big defeat for the Lions in the early game up against Benetton. The Bulls, they are just around the corner from playing. They will be taking on Ulster. Will be another one to keep an eye on. As well, I think Stormers, the former champion, should work on some places. Because when that team plays 100%, and then they would win big. How much do they get paid, says on the right. Isn't like the players. I'm not sure of what the salaries is. That is a yellow card, not a knock. Says Eric. Now ready to feed this ball in. It is going to be the replacement 21 here for the Sharks. So they have made that change, getting rid of Jaden Hendrickse, bringing on Ross Brodia. Now, very wobbly scrum there for both sides. And the penalty goes the way of the Sharks. They should fix the errors, I mean. Says Briston. Now this is where the Sharks need to try and work their way back towards a bonus point position. Whether that's with 4 tries or whether that is with just getting within the 7 points. Siamasuku kicking it into touch. Bongi Umbanambi now making his way onto the field for the Sharks side. And also there you go. And change coming, says Jimbo. And also we have got there, I really hope the Bulls will bring us a big win today, says Z. On out throw for Umbanambi, already getting into the action. And he just made his way onto the field too. Throwing this one in, nicely taken by Marvin Ori. The rolling ball started to move. Ryan Beard got in there very early. And Sharks also struggling a lot, but Leinster is a world-class outfit. Says Colin there, sitting 22 metres out from the line. Makazole Mapimpi looking for the ball. Looked like it might have been a knock-on, but it will be play on for now. Ryan Beard in the breakdown gives away the penalty. A tank going back to the Sharks. Will Cock go to the Bulls? Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going to happen with Vincent Cock, but if they're going to have Vincent Cock and Thomas DeToy, it's pretty handy in terms of the tight head options. The Sharks side, again, the penalty, though, will be kicked into the corner by Siamasuku. They are now 5 metres out from this try line here for the Sharks. And Lilia probably not him. But we talk about this season after season. Even the box players sometimes look clueless. Playing under him, says Sakabula. Ready to throw it in. Arm is missing a finger, says Doon. Now this one's going to be thrown in. I see taken by the Sharks. Getting this one moving forward. Although it's going towards the sideline and Pepsi Puta lazy foot on the touchline. Great defence from Leinster again. They are just not giving in easy here, this Leinster side. Gonna see it now. Just joins straight away Clarkson. And then just continuously stepping towards that sideline. Let's go Bongi. So here's Eric. So it is going to be the line out now for Leinster. 5 metres out from their own line. Finton Gunn. Across to Max Deegan, the try scorer. 25 minutes remaining. And again, Leinster able to clear their lines. They've got the bonus point. They've done absolutely everything that they need to. The only thing that they might do now is just try and really speed it up and try and knock some of that points differential away. Currently sitting at minus 43. If this game stays the way that it is, they will be back down to minus 22, I believe. Now 18, Leinster offside, says Johan. Now let's go Bongi, says Eric, and also appalling referee. Even Leinster broadcasters saying he's poor, says Design Management Consultancy. And also ball has to go to the back of the line out for the Sharks, says Jimbo. Now line out here for Bongi Umbanambi, taken by Vincent Tuchuka. Man who I feel if he was in that loose ball trio may have had a bit more of an impact than he has had in the locking duo. That man has gone 2 weeks in a row with scoring tries. To roll Ryan Beard out of the way there. Short ball here for the Sharks, so they are 10 metres out from the try line. To the right, chance here, Pepsi Puta Lazy. Trying to spin out of that one. The tackle of James Lowe is completed. Now pick and go. This time from Vincent Tuchuka. I think that it's probably his first carry of this whole matchup. Umbanambi looking for the offload, but it's knocked on by Edward van der Merwe. Referee says we're all good, and it's going to be play on. Although it does mean that if they do end up scoring here, the Sharks, they won't though because it's kicked out on the full. But had they scored, they probably would have gone back to have a look at that one. But the mistake made by Ross Brodia. And once again, just not the right choice. And there goes my 21-21 prediction. And Leinster sign ball illegally and ref does nothing. Says Eric, and Sharks are killing me when we should be winning every game with our team, says Joshua. Now line out throw here for Leinster. Going to the front. Nicely taken by Alex Soroka. Now off to Max Deegan again. Low tackle made by Bongi Umbanambi. And there's a bit of a push with Ryan Beard too. That one's going to be cleared and does go into touch. Still plenty of time left. 23 minutes is a long time in a game of the URC. You can score 3 tries in 10 minutes. It's whether or not the Sharks can just find that gap. I think they've made a majority of their changes too. I think Francois Fenta, one of the only men when it comes to the backs who hasn't made his way onto the field. They have already made that little bit of a switch in the front row. Klikane can still come on. Grey Sharks should win every game. Says Ice Robot. All the teams do it, not just Leinster, says Tiger 11 there. Now Umbanambi ready to throw this ball in. It's difficult to beat Leinster at home, but the Sharks should at least be giving it a better go. I personally like Plumtree. Players need to step up more, as only so much coach can do. Says Lilia B. And Eric, every single rugby team slows the ball down illegally. Says Jimbo. It's quite a common denominator, isn't it? Ready to throw this ball in for Bongi Umbanambi now. And it's going to be slapped back by Leinster. Now got themselves the possession about 30 metres out from their line. And a good driving run from Jack Boyle. Get those few extra metres as well. Finton gun off the left boot. It's been solid all throughout this first 59 minutes. So Rocker making the tackle on Sia Masuku. To the left-hand side again, Hatton. Hit low and hard by the Leinster defence in Jack Boyle. And Leinster is too good, but I love the Bulls and the Sharks, says Ruan Kloppers. I'd sack my pack if they didn't, says Jimbo. Again, the ref should be consistent, says Eric. That one's going to be kicked high again, this time by Brodia. Now down to the halfway line. Ball in the hands of Leinster again. Once again, we've hit a bit of a stalemate. It's actually happened in quite a few of the games today. In terms of that second half, it seems to go quiet. That was off the hand of Makazole Mapimpi, well picked up by Edward van der Merwe. And then the ball is dropped by Lucanio Army. Apologises to his teammates. First knock on coming from the Sharks, I believe. I got the waving from JD Lee in there too. Yeah, Makazole Mapimpi doing well to get back to it initially. And just knocked on by Lucanio Arm. And quiet second half, says Colin. And this referee penalised Sharks Ebenetsbeth multiple times for breakdown cynical play, leading to the 22-19 Edinburgh upset in March, says Casper. We got the other face palm from Lilia in there as well, but we have reached the last quarter of this game. Finton gun goes off. Great game from the youngster, but now they've got the veteran and Luke McGrath. Like this and like that as well. At the moment, Glasgow are still leading 28-0 in their game up against the Dragons. So they have actually hit a bit of a stalemate too. And Armour's struggling, says Colin. And Sharks are all about big money signings with no game plan, says Kevin. That energy and momentum has died second half, says Ruth. And yeah, I do think it is also down to the fact that Leinster already have a bonus point. Oh, and we're going to have another scrum reset. But it's a bit similar to Glasgow. Like, they're 28-0 up. They don't need anything more from that game. Not the player he once was. Says Neol there. And I'm not turned into FM. Or tuned into FM, says Eric. Now another scrum, which have been a bit of a lottery for these two sides. But this match, just the one try being scored by the Sharks. It was off the interception, Ethan Hooker. Managing to score himself that try out on the wing. Other than that, though, it's been predominantly Leinster. That's why the Rugby Championship bonus point is better. Says Jimbo. The Vodacom Bulls and the Stormers beat Leinster in South Africa. Says Christo. And also, we've got the Sharks are just bad. Plumtree is my biggest disappointment. Says Mike, and the penalty this time goes the way of the Sharks at scrum time. A big spank on the butt from Pepsi Putalese to Vincent Cock, who got the better of Jack Boyle there. Looks like a couple more changes are about to be made. Klakane as well as Dion Blula. And Armour's had a lot of injuries. He's worked hard to get back out there. Says Lilia B. It's going to be kicked into touch, and Plumtree is gone by next year. Maybe Jimmy Stonehouse. I might be his replacement. Says I have no clue. Only 30 metres from the line now. Line out chance for the Sharks, who are in a team huddle at the moment. They are just discussing the plan. Plumtree needs to go, so much skill, and yet they just fumbling. Says I Romeo. All right, Blula. Looks like he's going to have his first lift to do it. Line out time after just making his way onto the field. No, in fact, they're going to go over the top to Nick Haddon at the back. A little bit of a stutter step, so we do see Blula is on the field for Matan Zima, and then also Tuchuka has come off, and that is for Klakane. So not Vincent Tuchuka's best game, unfortunately, although I think it is Emmanuel Tuchuka who has been replaced. Yes, it is. So Vincent Tuchuka is still out there, turning this one into a rolling maul. Leinster can't get this ball out, and the Sharks get themselves the scrum now. So I would say that Tuchuka has now moved into the loose forward trio. This is where I feel he is at his most dangerous. This could be a very good position on the field for the Sharks to get something going. And Boyle learned his injing from the Master Porter. Says Jimbo. Yeah, it was initially well grabbed by Jimmy O'Brien, but then just put under pressure by Ethan Hooker, Lucanio Arm, Vincent Tuchuka, Edwell van der Merwe, Jorenzo Julius, all getting in there. And tying it up. Come on, the Sharks, there's Sakabola. Just looking now, Edwell van der Merwe, he is there as about the fifth receiver on the left-hand side. On the other side, they have still got Ethan Hooker there as well. Ryan Beard, another little patch up for him here as well. Let's see, we'll go like this. And like that. Glasgow still 28-0. They aren't going anywhere in their game up against the Dragons. What is CFB? Game stream. That's not even the right competition. The bots are getting lazy, ladies and gents. They're not even trying anymore. It looks like Lucanio Army has made his way off. That is for Francois Fenter. 16 and a half minutes left. These second halves, they've dragged a little bit because there haven't been as many points as the first. But if the Sharks can score now, another front row going down. We've got another reset. Double blow the whistle here as well. Stonehouse at the Sharks. Could be interesting. What's the weather conditions? So many drop balls. Is it slippery? There was a little bit of rain earlier on, but I don't think it's down to the slipperiness of the ball as to why there's been handling errors. It just seems to be a bit of indecision. And Sharks have to dig deep now, get stuck into the breakdown, tighten up the discipline, and maybe force a few turnovers, says Romeo. See there, Hugo Keenan, Dan Sheehan, Taylor Norris. A few players all there playing in this match. I've told you back then, Sharks are making a big mistake to take useless Plumtree back and look now. This is the level of officiating, so every teams should exit this disgrace. Says, yeah, well, this has been the level of the URC refereeing the whole way through. And people haven't been happy about it. It isn't a new thing. And people haven't been happy with the referees since the competition started. Leinster way too strong for the Sharks. Says Colin. Now, going off to the left-hand side, here's Klakane. The big collision there with Mangan. Trying to move this ball quickly. Oh, extended almost elbow there from Lula. Bit of aggression from the Sharks. Lorenzo Julius almost gone through. Just couldn't link up with anyone on his team. Go the Sharks, says Gerhardt. Back across Lula. Getting closer again. Great clean out from Pepsi Butalazy to be able to delay the steal attempt there. Vincent Chichuka, standing start for him. Hello, buddy, you well? Says Dr. Van, doing very well. Hopefully you are as well. And Plumtree is going to become a withered willow tree after the season's matches. Says Casper, now 10 metres out from the line. This carry there from Vincent Chichuka. Marvin Ori popping it up to Bongi Umbanambi. Cross again. They aren't really getting a huge amount of go forward at the moment, the Sharks, but they are putting phases together. Another carry from Vincent Chichuka. Well, that looked like it was almost round the neck for Ross Brodia. Now, Lorenzo Julius. Oh, Edwell Fanamurva just throwing the ball straight into the hands of Leinster. And a knock on from Makazole Mapimpi there too. That was brilliant defence from Leinster, just forcing them further and further back to eventually making the mistake. Edwell Fanamurva throwing the risky pass, and not easy to beat Leinster at home. It's very tough. And the Sharks, they just haven't been clinical enough today to be able to make it competitive. And come on, the Sharks, saying so bad Sharks, and this is frustrating. See a Sakabula there. Yeah, it was just one that didn't need to be passed there from Edwell Fanamurva, but I think it was the fact that he was going backwards so quickly. There was a little bit of panic there. It's like Luke McGrath may be getting patched up here a little bit with a bit of a cut on the head. It does not look good for the Sharks, says Casper. Should mention we've got 14 minutes remaining in this contest, and then we are straight into the next game. I believe that one I am starting, I want to say at 35. Have a quick look now, make sure. 1 second. So we are 32 minutes away from Ulster versus the Bulls. No game plans. Says Johan there. And that cut on the head is a Sharks bite and maybe 2 bonus points for 8 tries. Make the game more exciting, says Michael. Yeah, so far in the second half, we're only at 5 points. And I think that game between Glasgow and the Dragons. Oh no, Glasgow got themselves another one. George Horn scoring in the 61st. So they are ticking along nicely. 3 tries in their second half. How's Glasgow going? They are winning 35-0 up against the Dragons at the moment. So they're doing pretty well with the way that it currently sits. So we'll go like this. And like that as well. We have got ourselves another scrum now between these two sides. It's pretty repetitive at the moment. But that doesn't mean that we won't get a try soon. How's it? Well, Hamish, it's over for the Sharks. Yeah, Leinster looking to get another attack going from inside of their own 22. Jamie Osborne with a nice step. And then the fend thought about the flick pass on the outside, but eventually wrestled down by Lorenzo Julius. He's actually done quite a bit right throughout this game, Julius. Just hasn't really been backed up. Glasgow 35-0, Welsh Dragons, oh dear. says Ruben. We've got to remember, that same Dragons side had a draw up against the Sharks just last week. Now, of course, Dragons away from home for that game here rather than at home like they were up against the Sharks. And Stormers 1, Glasgow 2. It's a log probably, says Dr. Vian. The Dragons not really rated in this competition. Yeah, they had one win last year. Now, goes a little bit too far. And that is going to make the score still 26-5. How can you win a game with 3 forward passes, says Johan? So you take away 3 tries theoretically, they'd still be winning 7-5, wouldn't they? And unfortunately, True Roof, Sharks are done, says Colin. Yeah, it's kicked him behind by Jamie Osborne, just trying to force them dead, and that one just got a bit too much of a bounce forward. Goal line drop out again here. Going to be kicked high by Sia Masuku, trying to only go shallow here with the kickoff. It's a risky option, but it's going to work out not too badly here for Leinster. It's a knock-on against the Sharks. Now Mangan, 30 metres out. Glasgow's playing at the Scoton today, right? Yep, they are. Oh, Thomas Clarkson. Big tackle made by Bongi Umbanambi. Little shuffle from Osborne. Can't get the offload away. Vincent Koch also having to make that tackle too. Bit of a slip there from Vincent Tichuka. Almost left a gap in the Sharks' defence. Why do you watch rugby, Johan? Every game is like this, says Jimbo. And go on Roof. Sharks' performance sad today. Off to the left-hand side again. Leinster in the wide channel. Max Deegan cutting through Ethan Hooker. 15 metres out. Thought about going to the right-hand side. I hope the Bulls can do the business, so we at least have 2 from 4. Says Suckerbull and come on the Sharks. Says Novan. And they're going to have to defend well. Nice ball from Harry Byrne. Goes to Jamie Osborne. Back up McGrath. Little grubber attempted in behind. Josh Van der Flair just skidded on too far. Replace Welsh teams with the Griquas and the Pumas. Says Eric, I mean, they are talking about a couple of the Welsh teams disappearing. So there will be gaps and opportunities for certain sides to make their way potentially in to the competition. As Canterbury playing tomorrow, they are, or playing today for us here in New Zealand. And that's going to be up against Counties Manukau. Now, I would like to do that game, but I'm not sure whether I will as of yet. It depends on what's happening outside of the streams, whether or not. I think George wants to do something today at some point. Maybe it is a stream. We'll have to find out from him later on. Leinster 8 Sharks for supper, says Colin, and put the Griquas and Boland instead, says Ruth. And I'm making more hot chocolate, Amish, says Ruth. And there as well. But still 35-0 here by the looks of it. I'll just refresh. Like this. And like that. Yep, still 35. Welsh so cold and hot. But mostly cold. If the Bulls win this competition, it'll be good for their coach, Ackerman, says Casper. And what if they don't win the competition? Out of curiosity, are people going to want to sack him like they wanted to sack Jake White, or will he get a little bit more leeway, seeing as it's his first season as their coach? Now Bongi Mbanambi. Ready to throw it in again here for the Sharks. And over the top, ball grab by Leinster, and they score the try. Gus McCarthy sliding over for another one. It's Canterbury top of the log by you guys, Hamish. Johnny Matthews just scored a try as well. So in this case, we've actually seen both replacement hookers score at almost identical times. In this case. But yeah, Canterbury are looking like a real favourite in the NPC. I think Otago were ahead of them at one point on the table, but I don't know if that's still the case. Then they will give Ackerman another chance. Says Colin. Game over for the Sharks. Says Suckerbuller there. Your mustache is more exciting than the Sharks play at the moment, Hamish. Says Ruth. It was very nicely done by Gus McCarthy. Get another try, and Leinster have missed the conversion, making the score now 31-27. points to 5. I think they'll give Ackerman another chance. Says Colin. At the balls in below the Scarlets, Ackerman will be given a red card. Says Gasper there. And now just the 9 minutes remaining in this fixture. 25 minutes till the start of that next stream. Taking place between the Bulls and Ulster. Still a very exciting game around the corner. So there, Josh Van den Flair being taken off the field. A great game from the skipper in this contest. James Lowe taking the ball inside of his 22. Kicks it downfield into touch. See there that Pepsi put the lazy hairs made his way off of the field, and that is for Maviceri. I mean, you can come into South Africa, Hamish. It'll be a little while. I said within the next 3 years, but I have no idea what I would do while I was there. I don't know how long I'd go for. I don't know what time of the year I'd go for either. So there's still a lot of decisions that would need to be made, I'd say. Comfortable win for Leinster, says Colin. And Gus biting at Sheehan's ankle for that hooker spot, says Jimbo. Now ready to throw it in. Bongi Umbanambi, 8 minutes left on the clock. Leinster, their points differential after this game, it's going up plus 26. Oh, nice quick hands from Leinster again. The tip tackle from Lorenzo Julius. Now passed on the outside, very close to the sideline. Looked like it may have been out, but there is a knock on anyway from Leinster. We'll go back for a Sharks scrum yet again. I said the Sharks by 5. Didn't mean they score only 5. Says Daryl. And 31-5 must be the ref. Says CK. And come visit all of us, Hamish, says Ruth. And Ulster is looking good this season, says Dr. Vian. And also, only the Bulls and the Storms are worth watching at the moment, says Dion. Sharks are bad, says Jared. I think it's safe to go to sleep. 1:10 a.m. here. Good night and thank you, says Michael. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your night and, of course, tomorrow as well. Congrats, Leinster, first win of the season, says Eric. And yeah, doing it in emphatic fashion. Currently leading by 26 points. Hey, all enjoy South Africa, Hamish, says Colin. Harry Byrne, he's had a solid enough game, with the exception of that wide cutout pass that went to absolutely no one other than Ethan Hooker. He's been doing very well. They are just showing there Sam Prendergast watching on alongside Joe McCarthy. 7 minutes left. So we will ask the question, yes or no, will the Sharks get themselves a try from here? They've already got one. Will they get a second? Big scrum, another advantage. Going the way of the Sharks. Double blow of the whistle. And a yellow card here for Leinster's front row. Maybe their Sharks have been so shocking. I'm in disbelief this season. Ethan is working so hard at this game. I'm lost for words. Says I Romeo and Gun or Low. Might be man of the match. Yeah, see, for me it's either James Lowe, Finton Gunn, or Jamie Osborne. I think those are my 3 choices. Oh, I mean, Van den Flair, of course, is up there too. New Zealand is too expensive, Hamish. Move to South Africa. Says Dr. Vian. And we have got there no. They will not get a try. They don't have discipline. Says Iromia there. Now, 6 minutes remaining. No way they won't. Says Dr. Vian. And thanks, Colin, you too. Now, Umbanambi with a man advantage too now for the Sharks. In the closing moment, oh, ref, why are you so bad? Says Jimbo there. Now off to the right-hand side. Try to speak a bit louder, please, Hamish. Just had a shower and got some water trapped in my ear. You could probably just turn up your volume then. I think would be easier. James Lowe with a big break-in run for Leinster. Off to the right-hand side. Shoveling it on a little bit further. It's going to be Luke McGrath under a huge amount of pressure from the Sharks. Ref has been good. Sharks just suck. Says I Romeo. Now around the side, Ryan Beard. They get themselves another one here. Leinster, the crowd are starting to chant. Step from James Lowe. Looks for the offload out the back door. It's going to go forward. And in fact, the penalty will go the way of the Sharks. And Colin, so am I. Bulls tonight are the best, says Ruth. And they need Edsmith and those top dogs back in the team. And Jammer Shark says Z. And there as well, but it was a good break of the line initially from James Lowe. Well, Fundamerva managed to get to him in the end. And then just a little bit of accidental offside there when James Lowe went for the offload. Sharks need Butch. Says Ruth. Now 4.5 minutes remaining. Go like this. And like this. 42-0 still in Glasgow's game. Gonna drown my sorrows and a lot of beer and a curry. So yeah, Jamie there, and you cannot buy talent and expect it to be plain sailing. I should have done to Leinster what the Stormers did, physically dominate and milk set piece dominance, says Eugene. Yeah, like that's the thing. Second half, we've seen probably about 5 penalties at scrum time for the Sharks. They've forced a yellow card, but it's what's happened outside of that they just haven't done enough, unfortunately. Told to use it again, the Sharks. Brodia kicking it from only about 40 metres out from the Leinster line. It's going to be knocked back, and again, Leinster straight back in position. They have got kicking option. Jimmy O'Brien goes out. James Lowe is too good. Or so good, says Jarrett. We're going to lose. I'm a Bulls fan. For life, says Colin. And Sharks will return into the URC. Don't worry. Just watch. South African teams always come back with a bang. And yeah, like I don't doubt that the Sharks have got something in them for the season. I think it's just finding that combination. They've actually given player of the match to Harry Byrne. Fair enough. I would have thought that interception pass that he gave the try to the Sharks would have been enough to maybe take him out of the running there. But he has had a couple try assists to his credit. Revealingly as bad as the Sharks, says Jimbo there. James Lowe in a league of his own, says Colin. He has now got that ball. It's going to be charged down, so Leinster have now got themselves the line out. Just the 3 minutes remaining on the clock here. Not a huge amount of time for the Sharks to be able to get themselves that one last try. We are sort of 20 minutes away from our next stream, and that will be the Bulls versus Ulster. Covering that one on the channel. This is game 3 out of how many in the URC comp? Says Lilia. Yeah, they've got about probably another 13 games or so. They've got plenty of time for the Sharks. So, there will be good patches. There will be bad patches. You look at Leinster. Going into this game, they were 2 losses in a row, which they didn't even experience last year. So, it's unpredictable. But the Sharks side, if they can start finding their momentum, they could find themselves top 4 by the end of the year. Perhaps even just get into the quarterfinals and cause an away win. Now kicked high by McGrath. He's got that heavy strapping around his head at the moment. It's going to be slapped back. Sharks done nothing when Plumtree was there before. Now he is worse because players like Kolisi, Eben and Bongio is too good to play for the Sharks. All South African teams need to win, or all South African teams need to win, is fair officiating. WF was this, says Johan. Now, I do think that a few less handling errors would go a long way for the Sharks side as well. I think they've reached double digits once again, the handling department. But, yeah, like they'll go out of this game knowing that this wasn't their best, but now they've got 2 home games in a row. Stonehouse is actually good, very underrated, says Casper. Nicely taken by Marvin Ori, rolling around here. Bongio Manambi looking for the skip pass, and it's bouncing awkwardly for Klakane. It's tackled early. Sharks should quit rugby and stick to surfing, says Daryl. Oh, chip him on. Edward Fundermerva waits for the bounce of the ball. Can't quite get it. James Lowe, loose ball. Picked up now by the Sharks. Only 2 metres out from the line. Well, they go on to. Oh, it's intercepted by Harry Byrne, and it's just a little bit too predictable from the Sharks on attack. And Sharks handling let them down. Hopefully they will get better, says Colin. Sharks could still win, says Martin. Well, they've now got 30 seconds remaining on the clock here. 26 points difference between the two sides. Back across to the right. Now passed on the outside, Deegan. Nice fend coming in, Makazole Mapimpi. Wrestling down the youngster. We have got there Murray Darrell. They're actually playing cricket now, says Romeo. Now 10 seconds remaining. Cross kick from Leinster. Nicely taken out wide. A little shuffle there from the replacement Hugh Cooney. Back up to the halfway line for Leinster. Another forward by Leinster, says Johan. Now a little pop pass up again. And trying to get that still on the breakdown were the Sharks. And Sharks can still win game. Can still win one game next year, says Johannes. Low chop and tackle on Lorenzo Julius. Sharks told to use it. I think that their Mavaseri just realised that he is the man who has to use it. So they did not have the halfback wide cut out pass from the Sharks going to the left-hand side. Chance here for Makazole Mapimpi. Frawley getting in the breakdown onto the ball, and that will be the penalty for Leinster again. Okay, there, Bruce, you need to get Annie in order, says Daryl, and also Ulster are favourites. I hope Bulls can cause an upset tonight, says Colin. Crucial to win home games in the URC, says Sakabula. Sharks next game against, says Eric. One moment, we'll go like this, and like this as well. There we go. Their next home game, it is going to be up against Ulster, and that is in 7 days' time. I think Ryan Beard there was just asked by Harry Byrne, do we kick it out? Or do we take a tap and finish this game off? And Ryan Beard kind of did the exhausted head back and said, kick it into touch, we'll have another go before the end of this game. But then after that game up against Ulster, they have got the game up against the Scarlets. That will be taking place. But Leinster, their next match is up against Munster, and then they play Zebra in 14 days' time. And crucial to win. And also we got there, Bookie said 24 points, good call. Says Jimbo, yeah, the ones here in New Zealand had 27 as the split. So, yeah, they were pretty close in that regard as well. Now the Sharks going short side. Step here from Lorenzo Julius. The Sharks are bad, all that money, and they stay this bad, says Anthony. And actually, maybe they won't win, says Martin there. Now back line. Thought about shoveling it out wide. Another handling error. Makazole Mapimpi picking it up. Another drop ball from the Sharks. That was now 2 in a row. McGrath off to the right-hand side. Looks like they're going to have one last crack. Mac Deegan getting up to 22 metres out. Ball's there again. McGrath going back across to the right. Offload. Thought about going to Frawley. Kick the thing out, says Jamie. Yeah, it looks like they want one more. Now, cut out pass from Byrne. That one looked very flat, but breaking down the wing. Looking to link up, trying to do it all himself. Pops it up, and they will go into touch. And that is going to be the end of this game. 31 points to 5. Oh, they're saying there that this game may not be done. That may have been high. John Blumsley is still stuck in 2004. Gee whiz. It used to be about running rugby. We covered the Connacht match. Says Martin, are they playing? They're just around the corner, aren't they? We are going to be letting you know the score for that game while commentating Ulster versus Bulls. So we've got a bit of an overlap there, but we will be doing both of them simultaneously. It's a good run down the wing from Josh Kenny, the youngster. Yeah, it is a swinging arm from Ross Broadier. It is high. So I would say that this is probably going to be a penalty to Leinster. As much as it hurts to say this, well done, Leinster, says Daryl. And not high, game over, ref wins, says Jimbo. Okay, it's going to be a penalty only on the 15 to Leinster. And by the 15, that means 15 metres in from the sideline. So this is a kickable 3. This is a chance at a tap and go. They've got many options here, Leinster. They've just got to decide which one they want to go with. Well done, the Sharks. Thought you'd lose by more, says Bruce. But now, ready to take this quick tap. Sitting 5 metres out. It's going to be McGrath. Rush defence from the Sharks, trying to shut it down early. Now popping it in behind. Oh, it's a drop ball from Sia Masuku, and that is now going to be the end of the game. 31 points to 5. Leinster get themselves their first win of the season. Next game, though, Ulster. They are going head-to-head in their contest up against the Bulls. Going to be covering that one on the channel as well. Glasgow look like they're going to win their game with a penalty try, 49-0. In the end, Rio Dyer, the man who did get penalised for that one. I'd assume that was a deliberate knockdown at a guess. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all for the next one.